You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jumping Knee Pod, a modern day All Japan podcast. I'm your host, Jessica, and today my guest is the wonderful Dylan Fox.
That is correct. I've been waiting for this moment, Jess, for a long time. I just really wanted to compliment you on the great rollout of the show. I've listened to both of your first two episodes, and both Lewis and Dr. Jonathan did a great job before me. I have a lot to live up to, and I've always wanted to compliment you on this wonderful logo of the show and the artwork that you had. It's one of the best I've ever seen, personally. And I think that it really made a great standing. I looked at the comments when the show got announced for everyone, and I think everybody know, like when they saw it and they knew that they saw the name, which I mean, it was like easy for you to come up with this name, like just super easy. You just had it right on your mind. It was like fate guided you to the Jumping Knee Pod, and that's where it guided me as well. And I can't wait to talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling, which is a company that I love talking about in general, a company that I love covering, and a lot of wrestlers that I'm going to talk about that I may like. I may say not nice things about things they did during this month and certain people, but I like them all. They're all like a member of this big, goofy All Japan family that we're a part of.
We love the All Japan family, and I just kind of want to share some love back because Dylan was there day one, like literally probably with day zero, day minus one, when I'm like, I might need a new podcast. Anything I needed, you were there, especially the drama with the name, because that took what, a month to come up with.
I tried to kayfabe everyone and say how easy, how smooth you made it, but
No
that
lies on this podcast.
what she actually said was much more real, more realistic than that. But it shows you how much heart that she put into it to go through it, because this was the most stressful naming situation that I've ever seen in my life, I think, on anything. But it's only because she cared so much. So I'm very glad to all the listeners out there who are giving us a chance, and it's well deserved, as I said. So I'm very happy to be on again. I've been looking forward to this from the start. I think it would be logical that I would be on because I was there from like literally the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's not like I doubted it. I figured, well, of course she's gonna have me on. But that I look forward to it all the same on there. And it was great. You've been on multiple of my shows as well in the past as well. So now I'm giving this love back to you and the love back to all of the All Japan fans out there as well. So thank you very much. And graciously, I'm very honored to be on so early in the show. And like I said, I think it's going to be a great show. I'm feeling fantastic right now, sitting here with you and all the stuff we have to talk about coming in this month of June. I will say too, probably around the time you edit the show and put it out and all that stuff. Um, I want to shout out my great grandma who I live with, Nanny, turning 87 years old on the 29th.
Happy
Whenever
birthday, Nanny.
That's right. Nanny and my sister as well. She'll be here as well. She has a lot of love for you. Jess is like the number one book friend
Yeah, we're
that
book
my
friends.
sister. Yes, exactly. So nothing but love all throughout the family for Jessica, and nothing but love for all of you as well. So thank you so much.
And just a note before we start, you can probably hear it, but I'm sick, but All Japan waits for nobody. I just got to keep going. So let's start with day one. Day one was pretty mixed. It was a preview for tag titles. It was a bit of a weird venue. When the wrestlers come out, they're shot from overhead and from the back. This was a video on demand show, so there was only one camera. So if you want to see the wrestlers come out and their faces, too bad. You didn't get it on this show. But the matches we had were Paro and Odison defeated Hokuto More and Kuma Arashi in 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Rei Sato defeated Hikaru Sato in 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Kuroshio Tokyo Japan and Seigo Tachibana defeated Dan Tamura and Shotaro Ashino in 12 minutes and 47 seconds. Jun Sato and Naruki Doi defeated Yuma Aoyagi and Musashi in 12 minutes and 8 seconds. Riki Honda and Masashi Takeda defeated Kento Miyahara and Seki Yoshioka in 16 minutes and 47 seconds. Yuma Anzai, Rene Abe, and Rising Haito defeated Suwama, Hideki Suzuki, and Fuminori Abe in 14 minutes and 26 seconds in the main event. So, Dylan, where do you want to start off on day one?
I definitely think this was a show that set the tone for a lot of the month before the big show that we're going to talk about at the end. First of all, this tape show, we had multiple of those this month. Like you said, the place they were at was called the Sun Machida Asahi Gymnasium. There's a lot of gyms in Japan that get ran, especially by a company of all Japan size. It was like a pretty decent crowd, all things considered, for the venue. Like you said, it was kind of weird. It wasn't like they died a death or anything like that in terms of attendance wise. It was just a strange, smaller town, which I think is good. It can lead to weird venues, but it can also lead to like weird in a good way venues in the past. I think notably the show at the vegetable stuff, like garden or whatever.
The vegetable market arena thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's something you won't get in a New Japan sized company or anything like that. With All Japan, you can get a grassroots effort a little bit with certain wrestlers and things like that. On the first show, it's not like there was anything groundbreaking. I liked the match with Takeda and Honda versus Kento and Yoshioka. I mean, again, we're gonna talk more about Yoshioka down the line, but he's a guy I've been clamoring for like ever since he started showing up in All Japan. Like, hey, this guy could be one of the best juniors. I've always praised his style so much. Such a unique way of going in the ring. He's a guy I always say is like, if you're a wrestler, he's a guy I would point to because I think the way he moves around the ring is a lot unique to himself. Like, let alone his moveset. I think he's really good. Takeda is well respected by everybody. I just love seeing him after the tragedies that he's been followed in his personal life to make his big comeback. Is awesome. Honda and Kento, everybody knows them. So that was a really good match. That was my highlight of day one. The low light was for sure Sato jobbing out, unfortunately, to a heavyweight. Why do they do this to my man, putting him in these crazy scenarios? Sato, if you don't know me, if you've never heard me before, Sato is like one of my ultimate guys in all of wrestling, let alone of all Japan itself. Along with the Yumas, and again, I praised Yoshioka before. All Japan's roster is really good up and down in general, but Sato is like somebody who's near and dear to my heart, let alone respecting his wrestling skill. So what do? They put him against Rei Saito. They want him to get the hell beat out of him by this big guy that's done a lot of great things. Again, it's nothing against Saito himself. He's good. But why do they have to put my man against him? Why can't they put him against a junior heavyweight? Why can't they let him face a random local guy? Like, why can't we give him some love? He's a champ. Well, he's not anymore, but he was a champion at a point. Yeah. So I apologize for jumping ahead, but he was a champion when this happened. So how are you going to disrespect the legacy of the All Asia titles like this?
True. I didn't have anything for that match, but I do want to talk about the Kento and Takeda match. That was so funny. Kento looked so lost that the crowd was chanting for Takeda because he's a hometown boy. The crowd always chants for the hometown boy. Even when Kento was having to go at Honda, they were booing him and cheering Honda. He was just so lost. He's like, people cheer for me. Like, what are you doing? Takeda had scissors because, of course, he did. Kento avoided being stabbed. He grabbed them, and Wada caught him holding the scissors. It was such an Eddie Guerrero spot with a chair. I loved it so much. And Kento had no idea what to do. He's like, do I drop it? Do I give it to Wada? Like, what do I do? He was just not himself in the best way in this match.
Do you think that, Because Takeda, like you mentioned, this is his home prefecture, so he got a ton of great response as always. Like, again, he's a well-respected and talented wrestler in and of himself. Do you think scissors should be a more intricate, like it should be a staple of All Japan shows going forward? Do we need more scissors in All Japan? Have you ever thought about that?
But who would have the scissors? That's the thing.
That's true. Takeda, if he could have like a longer run, like maybe a tour or something like that, you could have him do it. But who would have the scissors? It would probably be Tokyo Kuroshio that would have it. So maybe not if that's the case. But yeah, you were a great point. Kento, like he really is ultimately at his core just an egomaniacal character. He cannot tolerate the fans loving anybody else, even in their hometown. And that drove him to the brink of destruction. And like you said, ultimately Wada ruined his plans with the scissors and just made him totally confused about what to do. So Kento is one of these guys that's so charismatic. No matter what his actual feelings are during any match, he could be angry, he could be sad, he could be happy, he could be excited, he could just be showing off. He's going to do everything to that 110% level that makes him amusing, no matter what state of mind he's in, even if it's just like, man, this is super weird.
Another match I want to talk about, which I'm kind of shocked that you didn't mention, was Jun and Doi versus Musashi and Yuma, or because they were known as Team
That was good.
Rocket that day. And
Yes, I tried to see. We're gonna go through a whole thing about Yuma on this show, and I'm trying to space it out because I don't want to just go through the whole thing right at the start on night one, or it's gonna make the everything less. But yes, you enjoyed that.
yeah, they had like the Team Rocket pose down because Musashi is the name for Jesse in the Japanese
Yeah,
version. And
yeah.
Yuma's like, we need a Meowth, we need a Wobbuffet. But then when they lost, they're like, yeah, Team Rocket's over. Yuma's like, I'm unfollowing you on Twitter. We're done.
They're blasting it off again after this match, some would say. But isn't that natural that they lost though? This is their Team Rocket.
True.
They are the
I didn't
jobbers
think of that, yeah.
of the Pokemon universe. So this might be the one time actually, now that you mentioned it, because at first I'm on like generational hater level of Yuma Ayagi's what he's doing in All Japan most of the time right now. I'm very bitter and negative. Like literally, sometimes nights I'll just be lying in bed. I can't sleep because I'm an insomniac, of course. I just can't sleep, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But then I just think, damn, as bad as my life is, why are they treating Aoyagi so bad? And I get very angry, and I just get very unhappy, and this is the source of it. But now that we've laid it out with the Team Rocket reference, we've realized that Team Rocket are the jobbers of the Pokemon show. I'm okay with this one. I'll give them a pass. One thing I will say though, Doi and the Saitos, love it. Like makes no sense, but I love it. No matter what happened, as soon as they teamed up together, I was all for it. And I can't wait to see where this whole stable goes in the future. Now that he is, he is the new Mr. Saito, Naruki Doi. Yeah,
They make no sense, but so much sense at the same time.
true. I totally accurate. Like I said, as soon as it happened, we were like, huh? But then when you see him in action, it's like, hey, this is awesome. Like, why not do this? Like, why not pair Doi? I mean, listen, we saw the Hokuto army has no need for Doi with their crew that he's recruited. And so Doi, he's not going to be left alone. He's going to join up with people who love him and value him, which I think the Saitos love and value everybody. And that's why we all value them because they bring so much to not just the in-ring wrestling aspect of All Japan, but the vibes of All Japan. And they've only increased fivefold with Naruki Doi here.
I just want to say, like, throughout the month, Ray and June just look so happy. Like, they were
I
just having
know.
the best
Yeah.
time. And they come to the ring with beer and sweets now. It's like, what a life, huh?
Were you not happy that June's Sweets ban got lifted?
I loved it. He was
Exactly.
so happy.
that was a storyline. I remember when we covered it on our show when we were talking about the carnival. You like really that was like the biggest storyline of Champion Carnival, I think, to you was like who was gonna win this bet between someone with like someone who loves sweets and someone who loves alcohol, who would win out. But now they're back together and they're very happy, like you said. And again, I love it. Like not they've been through like big matches and all that stuff in the past. But that's not what this is about this month. This month for the Saitos is literally what you said. They're just having fun. And I love it. There's nothing I want more in my life than to see these men happy. Along with Dory now as well. As like an older brother slash father figure to them now. I think that I want this whole family of Saitos to be so happy. Uh, and I think we deserve better. And on top of it, when you look at this together, I just want to point out if you look at the cage match profile for the Saito brothers on the stable page, they have added Naruki Doi as an
Oh,
official Saito brother on there. If you go to their tag
that's
team
adorable.
page, exactly. So we all need to be happy with this.
So day one's done. We move to day two and we go back to an All Japan favorite venue, Shinkiba. I love when All Japan goes there. The crowd just love everything. They're so loud. They're so invested. Why did they stop for a while? Just keep going back to Shinkiba. But anyway, we had Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato versus Musashi and Seki Yoshioka. It went to a non-contest. Hideki Suzuki defeated Hokuto Mori in 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Odison and Paro defeated Kurisho Tokyo Japan and Seigo Tachibana in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Suwama defeated Kuma Arashi in 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Jun Sato and Rei Sato defeated Hartley Jackson and Mazda in 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Yuma Aoyagi and Fuminori Abe defeated Rising Hayato and Ruki Honda in 14 minutes and 21 seconds. And in the main event, Yuma Anzai and Ren Ayabe defeated Kento Miyahara and Shotaro Shino in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Dylan, where do you want to start?
I think we could talk about the main event. I thought it was really well done. I think that really both of the last couple of matches were really well done, even though this was a smaller show, a Shinkiba show. I think they really built to a nice beginning and end. The main event was the big match of the show. You had the stuff with Anzai and Ayabe, this build to their future team. Again, I will not spoil the name until we address it in proper time here. But they continued their team and their faction. So again, starting off here, these guys all work well together. Again, if you're listening to this, I have a strong hunch that you don't need me to tell you that this was a good match overall here with these guys in there. But I like the motivation between Kento and Ashino. Kento's a guy, another thing about him that I love. I really am into the dynamics between him and like his not regular tag team partners whenever they pair him with somebody. For example, last year, one of my favorites was when Kento and T-Hawk had their run together as a tag team. Like
That was
their
so
couple of
good as a
matches.
team.
Yeah, exactly. Like they were awesome. And I think there's a little bit of that here with Kento and Ashino. I'm not saying they're going to be a regular team going forward, but I love this little pairing between them. They have such a vibe between them of like cockiness, like between both men, even though they both started off with back-to-back losses, like at the start of the month. But that doesn't matter. Wins and losses don't matter when you're Kento. When you're Kento and when you're Ashino, you always win, even when you lose.
I want to say Ashino ducking the jumping knee and turning into an ankle lock looks
Awesome.
cool as fuck. Ashino countering Ayabe's death roulette into an ankle lock was once again cool as fuck. Kento was a maniac in this match.
Yes.
At one point, he was like holding the ropes back, and the referee tried everything he could to get Kento off. It looked like he was gonna lariat Kento in the end. But I need this Ashino Kento tag team. Just like old men, like 30-year-olds, because everyone's young now and everyone's in factions. So why not?
Yeah, I'm totally for this. Again, Kento, he doesn't really have a lot going on at the moment. Ashino definitely doesn't have anything going on at the moment. So why not pair them together? Let them be awesome. The vibes are immaculate between them. Ashino's just such a great wrestler. I remember again bringing up the carnival. He was like the one guy whose Kuroshio match I didn't hate. I thought he got the most out of him. Ashino, such a great talent. She's like glaring at me now. As I
No,
said, I did not hate that Kuroshio match.
no.
She knows she did not want to hear that whatsoever. But I brought it up. I'm taking the risk. But no, Ashino, in all seriousness, such an amazing talent as a wrestler against anybody. Like you said, in that match, he had a great counter from Jiro's jumping thing out of the corner into the ankle lock. He's just a master of turning every possible move into the ankle lock, and we need more of that. That should be his role, I think, for the rest of the year. Like, if it were up to me, we'd have a singles match with Ashino on every show, and with the only goal of each match was to turn whoever's finisher into the ankle lock somehow. And until he can't do it, he will continue to get wins in this Dylan booked All Japan universe that I put together.
I would love that. That'd be so cool.
But also make them a tag team as well. He's going to work 2 matches on every show. One to turn ankle locks, or people into ankle locks, and then other to team with Kento and just be awesome together.
One thing I forgot to mention from day one, but it actually happened in day two, is that Honda dances now. I don't know where that
Yes.
came from. I don't know if he said something on Twitter and I missed it, or just it's just Honda being Honda. But it's mesmerizing, I will say. It made me laugh. I'm just like, why?
Now, if you want answers to that, I cannot give you that. I don't know why he started this. He's another one where it's like, he's been on, obviously, again, a talented wrestler, no doubt about it. It's nothing against him at all. But he's not really the focus of this group right now. Maybe his day will come in the future where he takes on a bigger role. But the way he's at, and I think this happens with a lot of guys in All Japan, especially Aoyagi, but I think it's true of a lot of guys. If they're not in a big focus spot, they're more they're more apt to just let loose and have fun. And I think that's what this is about. Honda, he's not doing anything too much. He's just hanging around with his buddies. So he's like,
Dancing.
man, and now I'm dancing. Yeah, exactly. Why not? Why do you want to take this man's dreams away, Jessica?
I don't. I said it's mesmerizing. I'm just
It
curious
was.
to why it's happening. Maybe that's his new gimmick, a dancer.
I think so. I think that would be a good spot. I've always compared him very favorably. I've always thought he was very similar to BB Hulk, actually, as a wrestler and everything about him, the look, obviously. I think this is where his future is going to be, like a dancing guy that you can't take your eyes off of him no matter what. He's nothing like BB Hulk, for the record, as a wrestler. Great in his own way, just not like Honda. But I encourage him to keep this up until he gets a serious push, in which case I will want him to stop doing it. That match was really good. Like Abe and Aoyagi versus Hayato and Honda. Like dancing aside, which was also good in its own way, it was actually really good. Abe is like the perfect person for this goofy, another goofy kind of not that intense match like that. They worked well together, and I mean we knew that already, but still, I just wanted to mention that match was really good. Both of the last 2 matches on that show, the Shinkiba show, were really good.
I did like Honda trying to do his 1, 2, 3, 4 spot, and Wada was having none of it. He wasn't looking at it, and Honda was so desperate. Like, please look at me, Wada. I need to do this. Like, if I don't do this, I'll die. That's what it was like. But last thing about day two is Dan, and he's in his angry boy era. He's pushing the referee away when he was trying to get him to stop hitting Musashi, hitting Sato, his tag partner, getting the match thrown out. It's interesting to see Dan take this path because normally he's the peacemaker. He was the peacemaker between Ashino and Sato when they were having problems, and he tried to be the peacemaker for Swama when he was in Voodoo Murders, like offering him a rice ball. That didn't work out, obviously. But he's angry at everybody and he says, like, I'll beat everyone up. Everyone's too friendly. I'll just beat everyone up.
It's about time. It's about time someone wanted to bring more violence to All Japan here. Which, I mean, you went back to that horrible Voodoo Murders angle that he was a part of. And in that case, he got the hell beat out of him in that whole deal. I think that is a big thing. He's been holding on to this anger all of these months. He realizes that this evolution team is not going to be that focused on probably if things keep going how they're going. So his way to solve those problems are to attack everyone he can and ruin people's lives to the best of his ability. And I think that's what wrestling's all about in a lot of ways. So I'm interested though. Um, I liked his title reign when he was junior champion. I thought he did a good job. Um, a little underrated actually, in my opinion. I think that he's a guy that always works well, brings something unique to the division with the Power Junior stuff, and I think you can do a lot with him. But I definitely am a fan of him turning, and I think it's like it's your destiny, kind of, if you are this Power Junior archetype. We've seen it before with like Kondo in the past, even Shingo Takagi and stuff. This is like a Dragon Gate reference show all to hell right now with me on. I don't know why I keep bringing this up, but I feel like if you're the Power Junior, your destiny is to become very angry at some point and want to beat the hell out of the smaller guys. So I think we're finally reaching that stage of evolution for Dan here.
See, the thing is, Dan seems too nice to be this angry.
True. And plus, how could you be angry teaming with Sato? Like, he's so unassuming and goofy. How could you be mad at him?
He's a bit weird though.
He is a complete weirdo. Like, he's not a bit weird. He's complete weirdo. Like, there's no question about that. But I'm saying, but not in a way that makes you angry, right? You laugh at him, perhaps at times.
True.
In my opinion, anyway. If you want to be angry at him, that's your choice.
So now we move on to day 3, and it was Yuma's 10th debut anniversary show. He had 3 matches. The first was Yuma Oyagi defeated Hokuto Murare in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Naruki Doi and Harley Jackson defeated Seki Yoshioka and Kuma Arashi in 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Kuroshio, Tokyo Japan, and Seigo Tachibana and Shotaro Ashino defeated Ren Ayabe, Dan Tamura, and Akara Sato in 14 minutes and 14 seconds. Riki Honda defeated Yuma Aoyagi in 12 minutes and 32 seconds. Hideki Suzuki and Suwama defeated Paro and Odison in 8 minutes and 72 seconds. Jun Saito, Rei Saito, Fuminori Abe defeated Musashi, Rising Hayato, and Yuma Anzai in 12 minutes and 6 seconds. And in the main event, Kento Miyahara defeated Yuma Aoyagi in 15 minutes and 22 seconds. So I feel like you have a lot to say about this. I'm very interested. So go ahead.
That's right. So this show, which ostensibly was a celebration of the man we both love so much, who we've always loved with all of our hearts, the man who has brought so much joy to our lives, Yuma Aoyagi, of course, the Fool, as his nickname is known. And I can say this, I was the one, as a true investigator of pro wrestling, I was the one who knew that he used that as a Persona reference, which is my favorite game as well. Even if you look at the awards deal I did, it's very much Persona 3 inspired, and in fact, directly inspired, I would say. But I knew he liked Persona. I love him. I love his wrestling. I love his style. I love everything about him. On this celebration of this show, celebration of his career, this man, even now, even on this show that's about him, this is his show. He cannot go without losing twice on it. Now, Kento, I understand. Obviously, they're longtime rivals. I know we were both in agreement that him beating Kento last year was a way bigger deal than it got treated as. And I understand that you want Kento to win here. I'm not angry about that. Honda too? Like, why? Honda was dancing one show ago. He didn't need this win over Aoyagi. He could have gone one show without beating him on this show. For a man feuding with Kuroshio Japan, can we not give this man something other than beating Hokuto Omori, who is the one who cannot escape? He's the only one lower right now than Yuma at the moment. I was so annoyed at this. I was like, why did you have him lose twice? I don't know. I was very irritated. Although I will say, I mean, like, the thing is, these matches too, they're good. I'm not saying they're bad matches, but obviously they're not meant to. Like, this match with Kento and Yuma in the main event cannot compare to the title match last year, and it was never even meant to. But it was good. Like it was him and Honda, a fine match in and of itself. I liked the effort of working all these matches together, and I did like that part. But I just think like him losing to Honda, I was so annoyed by it overall. I just wanted to point out that this man, ever since he lost the belt last year, he deserves better in this company, in this world. Nobody listens to him. He told Kento not to go to All Together, and what did Kento do? Go to All Together. Not only did you beat you at your own damn show, he ignores your advice, your plea to protect the company.
He sucks up. Please let me on.
Yes, and then he finally goes in. What do they do on All Together? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yuma has no role in it. Kento just shows up for a match. Doesn't matter at all, pretty much. I mean, it was a cool moment. At least they finally got someone on the show. But he literally just said, we don't need to be on that stupid show." And then what do? You go right on it. So Yuma is not getting listened to. Where is the respect for my man?
Yeah, but Yuma talks a lot of crap, so who knows if he was being serious or not.
But I love him for that. And we need to respect his bullcrap that he talks. Have I not always, you know me, Jess, like I've said this a million times. Who is the one that said, I love when he mocks everybody? He finds a way to make fun of people and goof around with them. Even Davey Boy Smith Jr. in the carnival, the most bland wrestler, with apologies to Dr. Jonathan, who put him over on the last episode. He still find a way to act goofy with his little thing that he did after he beat him. Yes, the little jig, as you have coined it, that is your original name, and that's what we all must call it now, or you will have to face the wrath of Jessica. But the fact remains, we need to respect what he says, we need to listen to what Yuma says, and we need Yuma to be back in the main event mix, or at least going for some kind of title. Put him in the TV title division if you have to. But don't have him doing this, losing to Honda, Giro, and all this goofy stuff. It's time to move him up to the belts and listen to his words, his wise words, in my opinion.
Maybe they're waiting for his brother to come back.
Probably.
Well,
it's going to be a while, though.
He's shown up on shows. He looked pretty good on the last show. I didn't think he had crutches. I didn't see any crutches.
Oh, see, yeah, we need him back now. Help Yuma out, Atsuki. We need you.
I do want to say I love the costume change. So for Hokuto Amore, Yuma was wearing like rookie blue trunks.
Yeah.
For
and
Honda,
still beat Amore in the rookie trunks. I love him.
For Honda, he was wearing like, I think his previous gear, but I wish he wore the long pants. Do you remember when he used to wear long pants?
Yeah.
He should have brought that back.
I'm a long pants respector for sure here.
And then for Kento was, his gear he's wearing now.
I knew you would like this costume changes. I knew you would like his style and his swag, but and it's not that I didn't like that. I like that too. I do agree with you about the pants, though. I'm all in favor of that. But is this how he wants to celebrate his career? No long pants.
That's what he does.
You're right about that. But we didn't even get to see that much goofiness on this show. He was kind of toned down. I mean, we'll get some goofiness. We'll talk about him in a little bit. So I guess I shouldn't say that, to be honest. But on his show, I wanted every match to be Aoyagi pilled. And I don't think they delivered that, unfortunately.
Oh, well. Congratulations, Yuma, on 10 years. I guess that's all we can say now.
and a wonderful 10 years that it's been, to be honest with you. He's been a great addition to the roster for sure. It's still number one in my heart. It's kind of crazy how like he's so great, first of all, but also so young to be such a veteran like that, to have this 10-year anniversary. I think that's a really cool part of him as well. Like, even though he's like, because that's the thing, like, when they do this, like, obviously a big part of the company right now is the generational stuff, with Anzai leading his group. Aoyagi doesn't actually fit in that group, even though age-wise he's like not that far away from him. But in terms of experience, he's much closer to like Kento's era than Anzai's. So that's how we all think of him. So that's kind of cool that he's been wrestling so long. This is his life. Wrestling is his life, and this is how they treat him. They don't even let him wear his pants.
Maybe they're ripped. They don't fit. He lost them.
I
don't know.
want evidence of these claims you're making right now. Show me the proof, Jess.
Yeah, let me just call up Yuma.
You have his number?
No.
Oh,
Oh well. He still had 3 costume changes.
he
It's
did.
still pretty good.
He did, and he was good. Like the thing is, the wrestling was good in all of his matches, and he's awesome. We all know that. I hope that he gets more of a spotlight in the future. Maybe I'm just fanboying out right now. I hope I haven't lost your respect for it.
No, I think it's just not his time right now. Kind of focusing on the younger generation. And I do think ASCII B now is affecting him in some way.
It's made him lose his mind based on his other match we'll talk about later.
But before
It's
we
all
get
your
to
fault.
that, we are talking about day 4. Jun Saito, Rei Saito, and Naruki Doi defeated Harley Jackson, Kuma Arashi, and Seki Yoshioka in 8 minutes and 56 seconds. In the All Asia Tag Team title match, Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato defeated Kurisho Tokyo Japan and Sega Tachibana in 13 minutes and 15 seconds. Shota Yoshino and Hiroki Murasai defeated Hokuto Amore and Jack Kennedy in 7 minutes and 47 seconds. Otison and Paro defeated Kento Miyahara and Musashi in 13 minutes and 44 seconds. Suwama, Yuma Oyagi, and Hideki Suzuki defeated Yuma Anzai, Ren Ayabe, and Riki Honda in 13 minutes and 40 seconds. And in the main event, we had the junior heavyweight title match. Rising Hayato defeated Fuminori Abe in 17 minutes and 20 seconds.
I think that this show was a step up from the earlier shows, I would say. Something I wanted to mention too about Yuma's show, another disrespect on that show, yet another VOD show. We couldn't have got Yuma's celebration live, but we could get this goofy Gifu show at Juruko Plaza like live. Come on now. But I mean, it was a title match, the main event as well. So they knew that they could not let this slide. I'll start with the All Asia title match, which was Seigo and Kuroshio taking on Sato and Tamura. One of the highlights of my month is seeing a team with Hikaru Sato defeat a team with Jiro on it. Which ultimately, it's one of those things I try to tell myself, I try to delude myself. Sometimes we have to tell ourselves lies to get to the day. I know that Hikaru Sato likes Kuroshio and respects him. And I try to lie to myself and tell myself that's not true. Even though they're personality wise, they're very similar. Although secretly, I think we've deduced in the past that Kuroshio is secretly an emo boy, very dark hearted. And this is all a mask that he wears. But I thought the stuff with Seigo was good, and the stuff with Kuroshio was not nearly as good. Seigo is one of these guys. I think he stepped up so much in general. And again, we'll talk about it more when we get to the singles match. But like everything he does is so good. Like even when he's teaming, he really finds a way to stand out even next to Kuroshio. Even for somebody like me who's a super hater of him, I think he does a great job in that role. Everyone will point to the singles stuff. But go back and watch that tag league run last year. He was doing a great job in those matches as well. And I thought that's where a lot of people really got to respect him more. But ultimately, another great hurrah for Sato and Dan in the match. And I really like that. The main event, this was a really good match, I thought. And I think it was the kind of match that it's not like you could say that they haven't tried with Hayato as champion. They've given him a lot, actually. Like they've given him big matches and the stuff with the faction. They put a lot of focus on him, to be honest with you. I think that he is a great pairing for Abe. Hayato has this energy and charisma about him that isn't really matched by a lot of the other juniors, in my opinion. Like wrestling wise, you could argue like other guys are as good or better as him. But I think in terms of a well-rounded persona, Hayato with his stuff and his spirit that he brings is so much ahead of a lot of the other junior heavyweights in the division. Then you get this guy Abe, who's if you followed his work with the astronauts or anything he's done really, he wrestles in 10 million promotions, pretty much. He's such a charismatic guy. Like that's one of his calling cards. Like a lot of people know him for his work. If you know him, you know he was a big fan and disciple of Munenori Sawa, who again, Battle Arts is my favorite promotion of all time. So I automatically am. I value someone like that very highly, who Sawa is their favorite wrestler. So you get these two charisma guys, even though they work different styles. Again, Hayato's much more of a flying type of player, and Abe is more, yes, charismatic, but also he brings in the technical style, the hard hitting style, shoot style. He was on Bloodsport Bushido, in a really strong match, in fact, as well. He's a guy that brings a lot to the table, and I thought they were a great pairing character wise. And I think wrestling wise, this was the kind of match that Hayato, like, it goes a long way because his run to me was so built up for him finally winning the belt. But I really haven't felt like he took a big. And again, I thought that Dan's run was a little underrated in the first place, but it's not like I felt like his run has been way better than Dan's was. I think they were very similar in style. And I think this was a step in the right direction because if he has a great reign, that elevates the division even more. And I think that's on his shoulders right now, especially with Atsuki out. Now that we've mentioned that before, the division's really on his shoulders. And I think a match of this quality in the main event was really good. I thought it was like the best of his title reign so far, I would say. So I like the match a lot, and I think it's definitely worth checking out.
I feel bad because I thought it was good, but nothing amazing. But I think I need to do a rewatch because I'm sick. Nothing was really hitting. Nothing was sticking.
Well, like, okay, if you compare it, I mean, again, not to jump ahead, but if you compare it to like the main event, like of the Triple Crown match, this was like significantly not as good as that. I would argue. Like, if you're looking for like this epic match that solidifies the division, I don't think that was it. I think this match was a step in the right direction from where his reign was before, because I really want. I think again, if he has a great reign, it elevates the division, and I don't think he's gotten there yet. So I would say this is a step in the right direction, more so than a great match on its own. But I thought their characters worked really well together.
I will say at the end, Doi and his Sato brothers came out. He said, let's have a 3-on-3 elimination match. We're going to get to that on the show on the 24th. But New Period came out. Oh, whatever they're called now.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well.
Ren Ayabe has the easiest pose in the world to do, but he won't do it. Yumo holds up one finger. Haito holds up 2 fingers. Honda holds up 4 fingers. Ren can hold up 3 and complete the, numbers. I don't understand why he doesn't. It's like it fell into his lap and he's not taking it. And it annoys me every single time he stands there and just crosses his arms or just has his arms by the side. I'm just like, hold up 3 fingers. It's not hard. It could be like 3 fingers, like, the pin, 1, 2, 3. Why doesn't he do that?
The reason why is because he hates math. And he doesn't like that you're trying to force this on him, is what I think. This is a conspiracy. I don't have proof of this. Again, maybe I'll have to call his number since you tried to call Yuma on me earlier. I'm going to call Ayabe, and I'm going to make sure that he clears the air and he reveals that he does not want to do this crap. And he knows that we expect him to do the 3, so he wants to be different. He wants to swerve people right now.
It annoys me, and I see no one else talk about it. And I think, am I crazy? Is this a stupid idea? But I'm going to stick to it. It's not a stupid idea. It fits the faction.
You're right about that. I mean, everyone else is on that page, but he wants to do his own thing. He's like the lone wolf of the group,
Then he shouldn't be in the group.
But if he's not in it, who else is going to be the lone wolf of the group?
Anyway.
Do you think he'd do the 3-finger pose?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I want you every time he doesn't do it, I'm gonna do it myself now to make up for it in your heart and your spirit, okay? Is
Okay,
that good?
good enough.
Good.
I want to touch on the All Asia match. I love Dan, I love Sato and Tachibana, and I can tolerate Jiro, but I did not care for this. I do think I had different expectations because Dan's going through his angry boy phase. So I thought he might accidentally get the match thrown out, or he might get DQ'd and Jiro and Tachibana would win, or he'll attack them before the bell or something. But there was nothing there. I'm just like, why are you so angry if you're going to do nothing about it?
What if he just destroyed Jiro? Like just used all the stuff they would use in the hardcore match, like power bomb him through a table, all that stuff. Hit him with a spear through the guardrail like he's Braun Breaker or something like that. Like do everything he can just to wreck Jiro's life. Would
I
that have
think
made you happier?
I think he hates Tachibana more because they had the Goro TV title. So if he spears him through the guardrail, if he used a table, he should have done something, but he did nothing. It's like, why are you so angry if you're not going to use it?
He's just very angry, but he doesn't want to hurt anybody now. He wants to keep him safe. He's a controlled anger. You just want him to be out of control, just wreck people, try to get DQ'd and all this. He's trying to keep himself professional. He's like, I've been there. We've all been there where we've been angry in our lives. Do you just go out and start attacking people? Have you done that?
But this is wrestling. This is different. When people are angry, they attack people. Dan did that in the last show in Shinkiba. He got the match thrown out.
You're right about that actually. Like I have no question about that. He should have beat the hell out of Jiro. We can both agree on that. I don't like the idea of them winning because I don't want Jiro to win anything. Is what you're not understanding about that. But everything else I agree with. They should have beat him down. What if he beat him down before the match and then they won and then beat him down again after the match?
That's what I mean. That would be something. At least it's something.
But what would Sato think of that? He doesn't want to engage in this violence that you want Dan to engage in.
He has to try hard to be the peacemaker. Take a page
Oh,
out of Dan's book.
Sato of all people being the one to try and be the voice of reason here.
Well, I think after the match, Dan and Sato did shake hands to say, okay, yeah, we're cool.
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I like if you're gonna do in all seriousness, if you're gonna do this like renegade type of deal for him, where he's out of control, like he's pissed, he doesn't want people to be friends anymore, he wants to fight or whatever. You do need to do something to establish that a little bit more, which they didn't do either on this show and not nearly enough on the next show either, I would say. So I agree with you mostly in all honesty, but I don't know why they didn't do it, to be honest. Because it's kind of a good idea. Like it's something for him. Again, he's another guy. He had the junior belt. He has the All Asia titles. They're moving away from that. He's going to be in the background for the next little while. You could give him something to do, and I think that is actually better than Honda's dance as like a filler gimmick to go in if it were up to me.
Moving on to day 5. This show was a charity show called All Japan for One. Tickets were free, but it was first come, first serve. Fans were told to line up before the show, and they will hand out tickets till they're all gone. All Japan also allowed fans to record during the show, and this is usually a huge no-no, but just for this show, they allowed it. They also put this on their YouTube channel, the whole show, so you can go watch it there, and they have Yuma Aoyagi on commentary. This was very much a break in their usual schedule. It was more lighthearted, more fun, nothing serious at all. They only had 4 matches, and they were Jun Saito and Rei Saito defeated Kuma Arashi and Hokuto More in 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Shota Yoshino defeated Seigo Tachibana in 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Swama, Dan Tamura, and Seki Yoshioka defeated Hideki Suzuki, Fuminori Abe, and Ren Ayabe in 9 minutes and 12 seconds. And in the main event, Yuma Anzai, Rising Hayato, and Riki Honda defeated Kento Miyahara, Yuma Oyagi, and Musashi in 19 minutes and 18 seconds. Do you want to say anything about this?
How did he commentate his own match in the main event?
It was done post
It's a
show.
VOD. It was a VOD show. I know, of course, but very sad. I missed out on getting these free tickets. Like this could have been one of my big chances, and unfortunately, they just got ahead of me by a few people. Unfortunately, when I was in line, but uh, it was the hottest ticket in town. In Ishikawa. Another VOD show here, like on the month here, but I want to believe that Aoyagi had magical powers to commentate it, and you've ruined that fantasy for me here. So I hope you're proud of yourself. But no, honestly, it's a really cool idea. Honestly, I think every promotion that's something that goes back all like a long, long time in All Japan. If you guys are fans of All Japan, like in the 80s and 90s, they would always have fan appreciation day type of shows. Um, so I think it's something every company should do. Like a show, again, like you said, this show, there's nothing really that matters, like in terms of the grand scheme of things. It's just a fun show that people can see in a small place that doesn't get wrestling a lot. I think every company should have a show like this, like once a year. That's a free show, something for the fans. Again, nothing like you have to blow off angles or anything to it, but just something for the fans. And I really think it's cool that they did that. And we will see if they can fulfill my dream next year if they do this and have a magical commentary team that commentates their own match.
One of the videos was a kid chopping Honda, which was adorable. And
Yes.
at the end, they brought all the kids in the ring to have a photo. And of course,
Yeah.
Honda had the crying child.
Listen, that was just bad luck. Like that
True.
wasn't his fault. Don't blame Honda. It's not like that fool Jiro who made the kid cry. He did it on purpose on his show. Honda loves everyone. He would never make anyone cry. And perhaps maybe he should have got he could have got Yuma over. As we know, Aoyagi, he's all about the kids. He helped them when Jiro tried to terrorize this child. Yuma made her feel better. So I think that we need more of Aoyagi to help the kids most of all.
Now for the big show on day 6 at Korakuen Hall. Yuma Anzai, Honda, Ayabe, and Haito kicked off the show announcing their new faction name. This will be called Alpida. I've looked it up and it looks to be Greek, the word for hope. I'll be honest, I'm not super in love with it, but I guess like all things in wrestling, you just take some time. Maybe it will stick soon, but I do love New Period. So rest in peace, New Period, and hello, Alpida.
It reminds me of pita bread. I feel like, I'm getting kind of hungry thinking about this new faction now. I think I like that it's something, you know, I like that it's something unique going with the Greek on there, Malaka, if you're an Assassin's Creed Odyssey fan, we could talk about. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not as good as New Period, this name, I would say. But still, I mean, again, it's something kind of new. It fits their kind of mission statement as a group. They're leading all Japan into the future and they provide hope for a better one. So it makes sense as a name, though. I agree with you ultimately. Like New Period was a better name for this, but they started off as a team, so I guess they wanted the group to be something different, and I can understand that as well. And I mean, coming up with names is hard. Do you think they put more thought into this name than you did, Jumping Nippon,
No one put any more thought into
into
coming up with
anything?
Jumping Knee Pod like I did.
Yes, exactly. So
You were there the entire time.
that's what I'm saying. If anyone knows, it's us, like both of us, like there. I tried to help with some names that I will not reveal on the show due
In
to
case we
how
need them.
terrible they Yeah, that as well. The on there, lots of video game references were made, much like when I wrestled, and all of my moves names were wrestled. I were video game references. Podcast names also are video game reference now. You are the one that can attest to that. Um, so yes, you have declared, and I agree with you, in fact, that Jumping Knee Pod is better than Elpida.
Well, I say that because Jumping Knee Pod's mine, and I'm not in love with Alpida yet. And it's just a weird name. It's very harsh, if that makes sense. I don't think it flows that well, especially with the group they're in, because they're so different, this group.
Yeah.
That I mean, I guess you're gonna have something that can encapsulate the group, like a word like hope or
Yeah.
something. But
What if, how about this? Let me run this by you. Let's say the president of all Japan sent you a DM on Twitter. It said, "We want the rights to have a jumping knee faction. Will you let us use your name? Will you
no,
loan it?"
no, because I don't have another name as backup.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't want to start thinking.
we'll never again. I suggested a number of names. It wasn't just one. And you needed your one that was perfect for you, and you don't want to go back for something you already love to something you just like. And you're not going to let Fukuda take that away from you. Even though these wrestlers are all good, we like all of these guys as wrestlers. I freaking love Anzai. Like we'll talk about in the main event. But I agree with you. I'm happy to know that you will stand on business and you will not let them steal the IP to this podcast or the name of it.
Let's stop talking about the president because I don't like him.
Okay, never mind. Sorry,
Let's
I
talk about the
apologize for bringing him
wrestlers.
up. Yes.
In the first match, we had the Gora TV title match. Fumino Abe defeated Seigo Tachibana in 12 minutes and 20 seconds. They named this match Requiem for Losers, which I thought was hilarious. Since they both lost their title matches earlier this month, I'm like, aim at something nicer. These guys aren't exactly losers.
That really says a lot about the prestige of this belt as well.
But I just want to know, did Tachibana and Abe know this was the first match? Or did they think it was the main event? Because this was so good and they went so hard. They did just another Girl of TV title match. That was fantastic. It's like, it's hard to have a bad one. It feels like All Japan is trying to make it up to us with the Minoru reign, with him winning the belt and like fucking off for months. But like,
Yeah, that
here's
that was
good.
bad.
Girl of TV title matches. Do you forgive us now? Please forgive us. But
You,
Abe wins. He's a champion now. I'm very, very excited to see what he's going to do. It's his first belt in All Japan.
I just feel bad for Tachibana, especially after his great reign that he's had. I mean, the TV title, I don't think anyone would claim this belt is among the best in all Japan. It's not even a mid card title. It's a lower card title that doesn't actually mean anything, to be honest. But he's made it mean something through all of these cool ass matches that he's had. And this might be, again, this might be the best one yet. This was a better match than the junior title match, like pretty clearly, in my opinion. These guys really rocked it. Sego has totally proven himself, and he's been a guy. I mean, his career arc in All Japan has to be one of the worst ever. Like before he won this title. I mean, this is the man who was in Yoshitatsu's vortex for a
Oh,
long
the
time.
Tattoo Kingdom. Get it right, yeah.
The Tatsu Kingdom. How dare I do not show proper respect to Yoshitatsu on this show? But no, he was in the Yoshitatsu Kingdom before this title happened. Teaming with Jiro, this could have been one of the worst careers of all time. Um, but instead, he has broken out and become one of the most reliable guys on this roster. So I'm not ready for him to lose the belt personally. That said, Abe's a wonderful talent. I mean, whether in tag teams or singles, and I think this is like to me, Abe, he's the guy that's been floating around in all Japan for years as well. It's not like he's some new guy there. And obviously, in the grand scheme of things, he's been around for a long time. But he's the guy that's been around in all Japan for a long time. He was there in the Jin era, okay, going way back.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
like I
love
said, that's how
Jin.
Jin was good. Like that was a really exciting stable for a while. I mean, that had Nomura in it, like Naoya. Uh,
Jake?
Yoshida was in there. Yeah, Jake was the leader. Like Yoshida from 2AW was there. Iwamoto, that was a good faction. Abe has been there, and he needs to be a guy that I like that they're doing something with him. Um, we'll see how this run goes because again, you really have to work extra hard with the TV title to make it good, because they're not going to give you the opportunities to do it. You have to kind of make it that way. Before Sego, the last I can remember is like when Irie was the champion for a while, having those banger matches. And then it's like, again, you have to kind of keep this momentum up because they had like a long time with people where the belt didn't mean anything. And now you have a chance here. If Abe can continue this run that Sego's on, it can make the belt mean a lot more. But I really hope they have something in mind for Sego because I think he earned it.
Do you think he'll hold it for long? I just have a feeling it won't be a long
Yeah,
reign.
that's what I think too. I don't think he's going to hold it for long. He feels like a guy is going to transition. Honestly, considering the title it is and the history of it, it wouldn't completely surprise me if he just dropped it back to Tachibana. To be honest, they just kind of go in this circle, pretty much, which would be fine if we have great matches like this continuously. But I think they should have more. I don't know who they have in mind to beat Abe for this title, but I do agree with you though. This doesn't feel like a guy that like, oh, he's going to be at this time next year, he's still going to be the champion. Like I think that he's going to get a month or two out of it, and we're going to move on to whoever they have in mind. One other thing though, before we move on, you were not correct that this was the first match on the show. You ignored actress time once again.
There's no
How could
actress
you?
time on Jumping Knee Pod. I'm sorry, actress
You
girls, but
it's
no.
it's disappeared. Like it doesn't even exist in the Jumping Knee Pod universe here.
I don't
Okay,
know any of these wrestlers, so
it's
I
okay.
feel like I'll be doing a disservice to them.
That's true. There. I mean, you're not wrong by that, but we can always expand our horizons a little bit. I mean, well, they did bring back, the Evo girls last month, so they, we all had fun with that, right?
Yes.
So, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to say that. I just wanted to bring that up, though. That did in fact happen, even if Jessica tries to deny it.
I'm not denying it. I'm just saying I don't talk about it on this podcast.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Next match, Hokuto Omori, Hartley Jackson, Kuma Arashi in X defeated Suama, Kenta Miyahara, Ryu Inoue, and Shota Ashino and Namis in 25 seconds. Just quickly, the match was fine. I like when Kento and Suama team up together. Ashino takes a pin, whatever. That's the boring stuff. This match was important for 3 reasons. First of all, it was Inoue's return match from injury. He's like
Yes.
a bad boy now with the leather jacket, the goatee, the earring. It's
New
great to
theme.
have him. It's great to have him back. But do you think with his facial hair and his hair styled back, do you think he looks like a young Kaz Hayashi?
Oh, see, maybe
Like a long lost
a
son?
tribute. A long lost son of Hayashi. Well, with Hayashi's retirement, somebody needs to take the torch off. Now him and Dan could be a team. They could be the new team 246, like Kaz and Shuji Kondo there.
So, second thing, we found out who is joining the Hokuto army. I was a bit worried since Japanese companies, and to be fair, a lot of companies around the world bring in horrible people. So I had my fingers crossed, but I was able to breathe a sigh of release when they revealed Cyrus. So I thought that was okay.
True. I mean, he's not any kind of criminal that we know of. So he's definitely got that going for him. And he is a big bad dude.
But the third thing is Omori's outfit. I swear it
I knew you were
killed
gonna bring
my
this up.
flu for like
Yeah.
5 minutes because my jaw was on the floor like, oh my God, this is so cool. He's like a captain general something. He has the cape, he has the jacket, he has the gloves. The only thing he needs is pants. I don't like him coming out with his trunks. He needs pants like Pachi, the ones you can just pull off.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. This is a pants respector podcast right now between him and Yuma. We both called for the pants multiple times on the show.
But the horse mask is gone. It's
That's the
gone.
best part.
It's in the bin. It's gone. There's no horse guy following me around. He's now a captain. I love it so much. I'm just so obsessed with it.
This was my prediction, actually, when that whole horse stuff was going on. I thought that it would just get retconned eventually, that it would just get ignored. One day it would just end, and this will not be mentioned again until the next time he decides to bring out the horse stuff. There would be no fit. There's no reveal on who that was. Like the horseman number
It
two,
was
no
Cyrus.
reveal. It was Cyrus, as we all knew. I think we all predicted that. um, but that's all in the past now, and I'm very happy about that. But yeah, the new gear and stuff is really good. This faction makes no sense to be built around him. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Why? I mean, he's surrounding himself with beef guys, I guess. Like which he is not one of. He was a junior not that long ago, if we remember. I mean, I like him. Again, the talent's there. He just doesn't fit a big guy faction. But it's kind of like it does kind of fit in terms of him being the captain and surrounding himself with bodyguards, and not the bodyguard who would be if they brought back the big guns for this group, I would be sold on it. But it kind of fits like, okay, I'm bringing in all these big dudes to protect me. It kind of works like in that way, but it's nothing he does is logical. I feel like whether it's the horse thing, whether it was the Nakajima thing before that, or the first time he did the horse thing before that, or the next time he does the horse thing after this. Nothing he does is logical, but I'm okay with it because it's him and it works. I think that he needs to continue on this captain role that he has here. The army, the Hokuto army, the name of his faction, which is better than Elpida, I would argue. I think he needs to continue this run, and this signals a continued run for your countryman, Hartley, here
True.
in All Japan, and a good dude in Hartley Jackson. So I'm very happy to see him get a good run. Very happy to see him do everything in wrestling. And Kumarashi as well. Looks like he's going to get a longer stay here. And somewhere, somehow, Koji Doi is just so unhappy right now that this happened. He's thinking, why couldn't I be in the Hokuto army? But Hokuto said it's an exclusive club, people. We can only have a certain caliber of performer. And he drew
Oh,
the line.
but we forgot to say before, Jack Kennedy, who was on a couple of shows,
Yeah, he
has
was.
joined the Hokuto army.
Even he is above Koji Doi in the landscape of Hokuto army lore here. And I mean that for a faction, like the way you build a faction, that makes sense. You have a junior guy on there. But still, what do these men have in common?
They're big and bold.
True.
Or have a little hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they got the mohawk with Hartley and Kuma.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Hokuto's not bald.
No, like he's surrounding himself with big guys
Who are
who
bald?
have little hair.
Okay. He wants to feel better because his hair is really nice.
Mm,
And I think, I think we have to appreciate that first and foremost. So I like this. I like this gimmick, trying to make himself feel better about his hair, leading a group. Let's see where it could go. Let's see how far we could take this. But at worst, with all of these big guys, at worst, it's a good undercard act that you could put on any show in All Japan going forward. And any combination. I mean, Cyrus and Hartley work well together. Kuma and Hokuto as a team, that could be kind of interesting if they're a tag team. You've got Jack doing the undercard stuff. I think it could work overall.
Well, what do you think about Inoue and his new look?
Awesome. Everything about him is great. I'm a big fan of Inoue. The thing with him is, like, it was so good that he's a guy that I just want to have like a run, like a big run where he does something awesome, some good stuff. And as I said, if you look at the faction, you've got, no junior in there. You would want a junior guy ideally. in there. And instead of bringing Jack in, I think Inoue in that group would have been a good fit. I think him and Kuma could get along great. But still, again, they went with all the big guys in the Hokuto army. And in a way, I love him as a wrestler. Like he's always been inspired by Kawada. The look is good, and I think that he's a guy that has a ton of talent in the ring. And he, to me, would be a great pick. I think he could beat Abe for the TV title. And I think that win would mean something. And I think he could carry that belt, and it would be a big deal for him for a little while.
True.
Love it away.
But now we're going to talk about a guy you don't love. Yuma Aoyagi defeated
I do love
Tokyo Japan. No, Jiro.
Oh yeah,
In
no,
9 minutes and 18 seconds. So this is the third episode of Jumpy Knee Pod. And in every single episode, there has been a Yuma versus Jiro singles match I've covered. I want to say we all must thank Yuma for interrupting Jiro's long-ass entrance with like a kendo stick. Jiro throwing the powder at one point at Yuma made me think of Taro, so it made me like Jiro even less. There's another Voodoo Murders reference too on this show. There were keyboards, guitars, lots and lots of chairs, a ladder, cardboard boxes painted black. There was a lot of things hit on like heads with, and I didn't like that. I don't like headshots at all. But Yuma was down on the mat for like 80% of this match.
Yes.
When he did get up and got the table, I realized how good it feels to have the fans not chant the whole match, "We want tables," except for this one asshole who started chanting it after Yuma got the table from under the ring. I'm like, no, why are you doing this? But they gave up the no DQ gimmick in the last couple minutes and just had like a straight wrestling match, which was strange. But I mean, Yuma is now 2-1. This has to be over.
I think that same guy was on the Bloodsport show, and that was even worse because there was somebody who just started chanting "We want tables" on that show. That was a shoot style show, so it makes no sense. But yeah, this match, I didn't like it, but it's not. I don't even like the style of the match, and then, like you said, it basically got rendered meaningless by the end. So is this a heated feud? Because they spent like 10 minutes of just, like you said, hitting each other in the head, yes, but just hitting each other, period, with stuff. Like whatever they could find, they hit each other with it. And they just continued on for a while, and then they were like, all right, now it's time to get to business. And the next thing you know, it's like a 20-minute match. And it's like, why is this like why are we having 20 minutes of Jiro on our show? So yeah, psychologically, in terms of the action, in terms of the characters, I didn't like any of this whatsoever. The effort was there. I'll give him this. Kuroshio, for all we can say about him, the effort was there in this match. You can't say they dogged it here. They tried to make this something. I would presume maybe they're just fans of like American style hardcore plunder matches, and they wanted to bring that to an All Japan to do something different. And I mean, this was a little bit different, at least. Something where we're not going to see this style of match under most circumstances, unless it's Voodoo Murders come back. So I'm not that into it. I didn't like it, but it just feels like with Yuma, they're like, all right, we're not going to do anything with you right now. It's not your time, like you said earlier. So they said, just do whatever you want. Like, just do whatever you want. Do this American crap that you and Jiro like, and we'll have you guys in a program. And we will continue as long as Jumping Knee Pod exists in this world. There will be a Jiro versus Yuma Aoyagi match to talk about. And I will not be on the next episode to talk about it that they're on. You can count on that.
Jiro jumping off the ladder was cool. That's floating around on Twitter. I saw another person post it today. That looked like it hurt so bad.
If you just saw that GIF, then yeah, you're in. Like, yeah, that was great. Like, if you watch the 20 minutes of the match, then it's not as great at the end. But again, I agree with you. And I think that's another sign of what I said. He's trying. in this run. Like, there's no doubt in my mind about that. It's just not that good, unfortunately. But if he keeps putting everything he has into this might be a breakout season for Kuroshio Tokyo Japan one day when he embraces that he's actually an angry person deep down, and we get to see heel Kuroshio.
I don't think we'll see it
You're
anytime
probably right.
soon. She was carried out with Tachibana.
He was.
So
It's not gonna happen, except on Twitter.
now for the All Asia tag team match. Musashi and Seki Yoshioka defeated Dan Tomura and Akara Sato in 16 minutes and 30 seconds. This was really good. It was so much better than the previous All Asia tag match this year. I just want to thank Musashi, Yoshioka, and Doi for becoming freelancers because they have added
Yes.
so much passion and so much fun to this junior division since joining. Everyone just looks great wrestling them. But I really like Yoshioka since All Japan doesn't have a speedy junior, so he fills that role really, really cool. I just want to say this was so much fun. The last 5 minutes between Musashi and Sato was so good. I didn't
Yeah.
know what Musashi's finisher was. So when he hit the frog splash, I was like, okay, this is it. He wins. But nah, eh, he has another finisher, I guess. Dan and Sato are no longer champions, but at least this reign is like twice as long as her first All Asia
Yeah.
tag title reign. And Musashi and Yoshioka were just so happy to win. It was infectious. They were adorable, and they call themselves Mu-chan and Sei-chan, which just makes them even more adorable.
This match ruled. Like, this was such a freaking good match. Um, I loved it. I think these guys are a great team. I really think Musashi's another guy. I had super high hopes. I was a fan of his for a long time now. A Michinoku Pro veteran. He finally broke out to go freelance, and he's he's done good, but not special. Like in his run, like his match for the title was not that great with Hayato. It was good. Again, it was good, but this was the first time I felt like, okay, this freaking rocks. Like, and again, Yoshioka, I think, deserves so much credit for that. His parts were so damn good here. He's a great person to go with anybody. Again, I mentioned he has a very unique style, even though he is a speedy guy. Just the way he moves around is different than anybody. His strikes are different. He does different stuff than just your typical slap kick junior guy. Uh, he matched up so well against Dan. I thought they were awesome together. And when Sato came at the end, that was just phenomenal. I thought, and the best I've seen in Musashi so far by far in all Japan. I thought everything about this worked. The crowd was into this. Um, they were really buying into all these near falls at the end. And this felt like the whole show took a big step up with this match in terms of the crowd reaction. Like they were into the whole show well enough, but I thought this match was really high energy from the crowd. The wrestlers fed off of it. Just a great match. Like this was the first great match, of the tour. I would say, like, truly great.
Next was the elimination match. Naruki Doi, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito defeated Ren Ayabe, Rising Hayato, and Riki Honda in 15 minutes. So the way you could win this was pin, submission, or go in over the top rope. And they also contested this under the no touch rule, which they have in Dragon Gate, meaning you can
Yeah,
tag in, but without actually tagging, if that makes sense. You can just come in. I
like
thought
lucha style tags, pretty much.
this was so much fun. I loved it so much. The Sato brothers looked like they were just having the time of their life, except when Doi realized it was him versus Ayabe and Haito alone. He looked like he just wanted to jump over the top rope and lose. Ayabe went flying out of the ring when he got eliminated. Did you notice that? He went so fast. It looked a bit scary. But Doi pins Haito, which sets up his junior title match. And if you see the first Doi versus Haito, you know this one's just going to be even better.
Yeah,
Doi also says, don't think there's only three of us. So we could be seeing
yeah.
another Sato brother.
Very angry that Hayato got to eliminate Rice Saito after Ray beat Sato earlier in the tour. That was my first thought right away. But still, I liked it overall. Thought that they made everybody look good. And like you said, a very fun match here with everybody getting their chance to shine. Set up multiple things, obviously, with the big junior title match. That match against Doi last year was better than any of the matches in Hayato's reign so far this year. So I want to see this really make them have a breakout match, which again, I thought the Abe match was a step in the right direction. If they could hit the level they hit last year, like you said, make it even better than last year's match, then we're really cooking if that happens. Like we're really getting off to the right, to the races with this title reign. And I think they set it up really well with having him eliminate the Saito brothers, and then Doi, coming back and getting the win as well. So listen, when you get eliminated by a legend like Naruki Doi, then Ayabe had no choice. He couldn't fight it. Like it was a shoot how hard he threw him. I think how he knocked him out. So I think that it's a good sign here for Doi and Hayato. The whoever the next Saito brother is, I think that's an interesting tease. I have no clue like who that could be, to be honest with you. Um, if you want again to bring more Dragon Gate enthusiasm to the show, right now he's currently the tag team champion in Dragon Gate, the Open the Toy Gate champion with Dragon Kid, which would be the most ridiculous possible tag team partner for the Saito brothers as possible. So I highly approve if that does happen.
We need to check wrestler's mother's maiden name. Like that's how Doi got into the Saito brothers. We need to
Right.
find someone who had a mother and their
Named
last name was
Saito.
Saito. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't have this information in front of me, to be honest. What is there some way we could call like a place in Japan for this, like some kind of birth office?
That'd be weird.
Like just a constant, like you spend like 5 days in a row just calling and be like, well, what about this guy's mom's name? And they're just like, please leave us alone.
I don't think they announced when they'll be debuting the fourth Saito, did they?
No, it was just a tease. It was like, don't like just remember this. It's not just the three of us.
I guess we have to wait a bit before we're introduced to the fourth Sato brother.
The mystery continues.
But now for the main event, the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship. Yuma Anzai defeated Hideki Suzuki in 22 minutes and 6 seconds. This was very, 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 very good. I see people saying it's better than Anzai versus Kento. I'm not too sure on that, but then I have flu brain, so I'm going to have to go watch them back to back. But this match was just so good. I was surprised to see Anzai work Hideki's style and actually come out on top. I thought,
Yep.
you work Hideki's style, you lose. That's just how it is. But Hideki was so nasty at time with his hits, holding one of Anzai's arms behind his back and just repeatedly striking him in the chest. It was brutal. Knee strikes, elbow strikes, they all look so nasty. He really played the mean senior. Anzai got a ton of offense here, which I wasn't expecting, but I'm glad to see. It's like the win over Kento elevated him from underdog. But now for the gimlet. I don't know if they messed it up and they played it off like Anzai was exhausted, but it wasn't great. I still think he needs to change it or use the face lock for his main finisher and the gimlet as like a super finisher, especially since I don't see him hitting the gimlet on his next opponent, which is Suwama. Suwama challenges and the campaign for Suwama Thank You Rain is back on.
The smile she got when she said this to my face. If only you could see it. She has been tormenting me with this Suwama thank you rain for months now. And now like we've reached the end stage of this. Like if it's gonna happen, now is the time. So this may be one of my more invested Triple Crime matches in some time coming up. I love this match. Like it was so good. Like Hideki and Yuma. Hideki, like he really like he took it to Anzai, but everything in this match was actually designed, if you look at it, whether he was beating the crap out of Yuma or giving Yuma offense. Everything about this match was designed to make Anzai the dude of the company, like the main man, Like, I just thought it was expertly done. It really reminded me a lot of Hideki's match with Kaito in the N1 final, which, I mean, Noah totally blew it ultimately in that scenario. But I have a lot more faith. Anzai didn't get beer dropped on his head immediately after this match. So, like, I think we're already off to a better start with this here. But I thought those matches served very similar purposes and were similarly awesome. Like, that was one of the best matches of the year that year. And I think they were on their way. They've got to get rid of this giblet. And I apologize to that restaurant you brought up on episode 1 of the show. I have nothing against their food or them as a restaurant. He's got to drop this finisher. It doesn't work. It's not even good when he hits it right. And it's time to find something else. Like, I agree with you. I like the face lock. Like, him beating Suwama was awesome in the carnival with that move. Find something else. Like, do whatever you got to do. Steal a move. Like, I don't care. Like, get a bigger move or a better move for your big move like this if you want. That's got to go. But I will say this. Despite my misgivings and despite the fact that they messed it up, I thought they did a really good job of recovering well. It's not like the match went unglued after he messed it up the first time. They recovered and did a great job of making the match go to where it should have been anyway afterwards. I think that it goes to show how much of a pro Hideki is and how much Anzai, I think he's a guy that if you look at his track record this year, he has to be considered among the best workers in Japan, like the in-ring wrestlers. His run is prolific right now. I feel like he's doing great things left and right. The match with Kento was amazing. The match with Hideki was amazing. And when you have Kento and Hideki, two guys who have well-traveled, tons of great matches between them, tons of great work between them. And then you see Anzai still, like, even though he's the champion, he's still new to this business, but he doesn't wrestle like it. Like, he's on their level in the ring. Like, he's proving it, like, left and right. He's on the level of anybody you point at in terms of pro wrestling right now in the ring. And I think that he deserves a lot of credit for doing such a great job. This run is successful. Him winning the title, everything about it's done great so far. Suwama, even if he does lose, that doesn't take away from this title reign and the matches he's had in his run in the carnival, in my opinion. I just think because he beat him in the carnival, that automatically makes me think that Suwama may be getting his revenge here. And to be honest with you, we talked about this a lot in the carnival that we talked about. I think you agreed with this. I thought it would be cool if Aoyagi was like his mountain, like his Kento to what Kento was to Aoyagi. I like that he beat Kento because I think Kento's already been the mountain for enough guys. I would like to see somebody different. Suwama was like that for other people in the past as well, though. So he needs a mountain, I think, to overcome at this point. Like, I don't think you have to have him beat everybody on the roster and just like totally be dominant as the ace. I just don't know if this is the way to go about it with Suwama because he's already beaten him in the tournament. But we'll see. I think it'll be a great match. Like, no doubt. I'm super excited about the match as just a wrestling fan. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's a logical follow-up to this Hideki match as well, which I just thought was magical. I thought it was like among the best All Japan matches of the year, if not the best to me. So really great stuff. Interesting result to bridge to Suwama and Anzai. And either way, again, I'm not going to be hating. If it's a match like the Nakajima match with Anzai and then Suwama just wins, then yes, I'll be very negative. But it's not going to be like that at all likelihood. I think either way, you can make good on it in the future. I personally would like to see Anzai get the win just because he's already beaten Suwama, and I'd like there to be a guy that's like unbeatable to Anzai for the next year or two, to where he can really, like, when he finally beats him, it means as much as the title almost. And he's already beaten Suwama, so I don't want it to be him. But that's just my opinion on it. no matter what, it'll be a fantastic match. I have no doubt.
I'm curious why they did Suama when they have Honda. And
That's a
was
good
it
point.
Ray or June who beat Anzai?
I think it was Ray because June beat Ray afterwards. But I'll look it up.
Yeah, they have
Uh,
those
uh, uh,
two.
yeah.
Why not have one of those challenge?
Well, you said it earlier. Honda's too busy dancing right now. He has bigger things to worry about. It was Ray that beat
Hmm.
Anzai in the carnival. So he's gotten rid of Hideki. Um, you're right, to be honest. Like now that I think about it, you're totally right. Like they have two guys that beat him in the carnival, and they moved to the guy who he beat. That's not that logical, to be honest. I wish they had given. I wonder. I don't know though. Like, hmm. What's the end? Like, what do you think the logical end game to this title reign is? Like, who would be the next champion? Because I think so. Compare who, like, let's say he beats Suwama, and the other two are Rei Saito and Honda. Suwama makes the most logical sense to win the title over the other two.
Hmm. Out of those three, Suama, but
Yeah, exactly.
maybe Ashino and Yuma get their chance.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Obviously, I think they would both be great champions, especially Ashino because he had his time kind of stolen from him,
Mm.
due to injury. Um, and I mean, if that happens, this title reign could be lasting all year, which I'd fine with. Like, I think that's a fine idea. Like, Anzai, he's got momentum. He's doing great work. He's still got people he hasn't beat yet. There's no reason why this title run can't last a long time if they wanted it to.
Do you think it will last till next year?
I think that it'll end before then. But if they wanted it to, I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world. I mean, they don't have. Do they have a show announced like last year with the big year end show?
Yeah, on
Like
the
a year.
31st, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that seeing that where it ends if they wanted to. But I'm not convinced he gets past Suwama though. Like I think there's a real chance Suwama wins the belt, to be honest, because of what happened in the carnival. If he gets past him, I think he'll hold it until the end of the year.
I think that, but I also think that Anzai's Suwama's boy, and Suwama just wants to make
Yeah.
Anzai look good. Like Anzai got his
Yeah.
first win against Suwama.
Yep. True.
So I don't
And
know.
I'm interested. Again, it's not like I would think it ruins the company if Suwama wins the belt, but I think it would be better if Anzai won, to be honest. And like you said, Suwama, like you said, he loves him to death. How could you not love him? This guy, there's no reason you can't think he's the ace of the company, like going for many years to come. So of course everybody loves him. He deserves it. He earns their love by his great performances. So yeah, I think if I had to, like, if you force me to put a huge bet on it had to be one or the other, I would pick Anzai over Suwama. But I wouldn't completely write it out that he doesn't get a big win. But I do think if he gets past Suwama, like Ray and Honda, I don't think are the right people to take the belt off of Anzai, in my opinion. So I think he'll do it until the end of the year. Overall, they could have one of those guys. We said, I think I would absolutely love to see Yuma get his spot back. And I think maybe they'll build him up to that. I'd love it even more if it was Ashino for the reasons of my heart, the moral reasons of it. You can never count out Kento getting another shot. Or maybe they have some grand plan with an outsider. They could go a lot of different directions with it. And that is another thing that's cool. There's no obvious answer, but I think you have a lot of good possible directions to go in as well.
It could be the fourth Sato brother.
Absolutely.
We don't know who it is yet.
Dragon Kid winning the Triple Crown.
But that was All Japan. I just have a couple notes. Masanobu Fuji is back. He has recovered from his one match all the way back in January. He will team with Jun and Rei Saito to take on Suwama, Dan Tamura, and Takao More for referee Kyohei Wada's 50th anniversary. And the Royal Road tournament will begin on the 14th of September and be held over 5 days. The 14th, 15th, 16th, 19th, and 22nd. And you have an early pick, like really early pick.
Whoever, like I said, I love that we've narrowed it down to Aoyagi and Ashino as kind of the ones to end this Anzai deal. Whoever doesn't win the belt from Anzai should win the Royal Road and get the title shot there. Like, if Ashino beats him at the end of the year, then Aoyagi should win the Royal Road. And if Aoyagi's going to win at the end of the year, Ashino should win the Royal Road.
You must never got past the first round of the Royal Road tournament. So I reckon
Now is the time.
the tournament where he actually does get to the second round, he wins.
Yeah. And I think it would be a fantastic match. I really want Aoyagi. I still really want Aoyagi to be that guy for Anzai. Like, Aoyagi beats him though. Like, I would rather Aoyagi in the title reign for that reason, because that's a feud you could have go on for years. Ideally, like, Anzai just cannot beat Yuma Aoyagi, and when he finally does, it's an epic moment. I would love to see that.
The Battle of the Yumas.
Exactly, a never-ending Yuma rivalry in All Japan. Like, that's what I want.
Okay, Dylan, who was your wrestler of the month?
Oh, it had to be Anzai to me. Like, after that main event match, like, he just comes across. He's got a new faction, new name. We don't love it, but a new name nonetheless. The title match was just freaking awesome. Like, the best match of the month for me. And the way he just carries himself, again, because he was so young, there were some doubters of this when he won the belt. Especially, like, the match he won it in was so not great. Like, he didn't look as good as he could have, to say the least. But there were a lot of doubters, even in the tournament, even in the carnival. At the end of that, we had a lot of people saying, "Oh man, we really think they should have booked him stronger. He should have gotten more wins. He should have been more of a focal point." But man, when you see him now, he's just great. Like, everything about him rules as the champion, and I hope they continue this momentum with him. So I'm going to go with Anzai as my pick after my All Japan match of the year.
I was kind of leaning to Hideki, which is crazy for me because I never really liked him. But it has to be Anzai. It really does.
And Hideki was great, like, in his role, of course. I mean, he was as big of a part, if not bigger, in making that match as great as it was overall. But with Hideki, I don't know where he goes from here, to be honest with you.
He has that
Like,
show with Suwama coming up.
yeah,
They have t-shirts. It's so cute.
yeah. I mean, I'm a super hater of the Hideki Suwama tag team because we could get matches like this more often if he wasn't in it, I would say. I mean, Hideki beat Hokuto in the singles match earlier in the month as well. What else did he do on these shows? I'm trying to remember. He did team with Suwama in one of the matches.
I think he teamed against Suwama.
He even
Also.
teamed against Suwama as well. Why not? He teamed with him, against him, but they weren't that important. Match is over. I mean, yeah, he teamed against Suwama against the end. Teamed with Suwama and Yuma on the charity show. Or no, that wasn't the charity show. That was the match for the junior title. On the charity show, he teamed against Suwama. As you said, it was Hideki, Abe, and Ayabe versus Suwama, Yoshioka, and Dan. So, yeah, I mean, Hideki's great. I love him. I've always been a huge fan of his. I just love how these guys who are always like, because when he came into All Japan, there was like a million people that were like, Hideki, he's gonna politic over everybody, never lose. And like, all he does is like put over people. And like, in the tournament, he put over the Saitos. He made Anzai look amazing. Suwama was more protected of their team. Give Hideki his respect, people. This man has been a great team player for All Japan in his run. Let's look at the facts right now. And by the way, too, another thing I liked about this match, the this match, their title match, was like a great continuation from their Carnival match, which was really good. But I knew they had better in them and they had more in the tank with them, and they unloaded it in this match. It was like a perfect follow up going in there. So yeah, I've changed my mind now. Hideki is the MVP
Oh
now of
wow.
June. Now I've changed my mind, and I will give Anzai his love in all the other months. But for now, Hideki gets his run. And again, he may have the shirts with Suwama, and you may like them, but I just don't see that reaching the level of a triple crown match overall in his career path. Maybe he does. I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
So I guess everyone can tell what our match of the month is.
Oh yeah.
But okay, what is it? And do you have any runner-ups?
Well, it's obvious. I think the match I love the most was Yuma Aoyagi versus Jiro in the no, I'm kidding. No. I
Don't
would
make me
never say
laugh.
that.
I'm gonna cough.
I apologize. Like this woman is dying on the other end of the show. I want to alert everyone to that. But no, obviously the Triple Crown was amazing. That was my match of the whole year at All Japan, I think. But I loved the All Asia match on that show as well. That match deserves recognition and love. Highly recommend both of them. If that Triple Crown match wasn't as great as it was, that All Asia match would have been right up there with it. So great match there, but nothing can beat that Anzai Hideki match. Just another page and this prolific like Anzai title reign that he's writing right now, and I can't wait to see where it goes next.
100% agree. It has to be Anzai versus Hideki, followed by Dan Sato versus Musashi and Yoshioka. There's no one else that really came close. Maybe the Goro TV title match, Abe versus Tachibana.
That was
But
good
those
too.
two matches were like
Yeah.
in a league of their own.
Yeah, what a good show that was. Like other 24th, like the whole show was worth watching. Again, I didn't like it, but at least it was something different on the show. You had a good variety on there. And these kind of shows, and that's why I think that All Japan is doing so well right now, because they've got good variety, they've got interesting stories, they've got a great young champion that people want to believe in, and a great group of veterans like Hideki and Suwama around him to make him look even better. So I think this whole show really emphasizes how good All Japan is doing right now, and the whole month was a good month for them.
Yeah, it really was. So we've reached the end now. And thank you all so much for listening to Jumping Knee Pod. If you want to contact me, you can do so at Sister Jessie and Raw Road 72 on Twitter.
As for me, if you liked what you heard on this show, check out my show about Japanese pro wrestling. We cover everything. We've got All Japan, we've got Dragon Gate, New Japan, Noah, DDT, a little bit in there. Special shows. I try to bring. I'm a big fan of Joshi Perez as well, so we cover stuff like Stardom, Mari Gold, and so on and so forth. Iceman had a big show recently. We've got the Patreon on there, patreon.com/Eastern Lariat, which covers some of those shows. I talked about Bloodsport on there, which did feature Hikaru Sato and Hideki on that show as well. And Hideki got huge wins in the Bloodsport show, won 2 matches on there to win the one night tournament, the prestigious one night only time it's ever happened Bloodsport tournament here. But yeah, Eastern Lariat's great. If you like Lucha Libre, check out Lucha Talk. I did a new show recently on that as well. Talking about a horrific AAA show, which was worse than all of these shows. I watched like 10 a card with 10 Jiro matches on it before the Triple Mania we watched on there again. So that's fun. But yeah, Eastern Lariat, definitely where it's at. Check us out on Twitter at Eastern Lariat. Check me out if you want to connect with me personally. Always love talking wrestling or life, like anything you want. Check me out on there at Viva_0. Tribute to mention like Joshi, favorite Joshi wrestler, Ray, Viva Ray, rest in peace. Always love talking to the fans and all the people out there. But most importantly, continue supporting Jumping Knee Pod as we continue this journey. We're all in it together. I mentioned it earlier, the All Japan crew is like a family in and of itself. but now we're building great things here as well. So thank you so much, Jessica, for having me on. And thank you, the listeners. I'm talking to you right now. I see what you're doing over there. I see you. Thank you
Oh,
so
be
much
nice
for
to my
having me on.
listeners.
I'm not judging. I just said I'm just letting you know I see you. Like, I'm not judging what you're doing. I'm just letting you know. But thank you guys so much. Legitimately, really appreciate all the love and support, and hopefully you guys enjoyed my appearance and all of the appearances that are going to continue on. After I depart this episode, Jumping Knee Pod will continue and do things bigger, better, greater than ever before, and I look forward to listening to it myself.
You'll be back next time they have another Jiro versus Yuma match. You're on.
No, that's not the rules of this. I didn't agree to that whatsoever, but I would be honored to be on no matter what. If I have to suffer for your benefit, Jessica, I will do it. And believe me when I tell you that seeing Yuma face Jiro is a suffering experience for me. But no, I can't wait to do it and can't wait to continue on as well. Love what you're doing. I think you've done a great job through the first few episodes. Still a new journey for you. And I think you've done a fantastic job, even though I know it can be hard sometimes, whether to come up with names or to deal with various illnesses on the show as well.
Fingers crossed they'll be all better for episode 4. But thank you all once again. I have been your host, Jessica, and I'll see you next time for more All Japan.
This has been a Countout Podcast. Every year, the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame receives a new crop of potential inductees. And on our new Countout Patreon series titled The Ballot, it's our job to discuss whether or not these newbies should become Hall of Fame wrestlers. Hello, my name is Ryan Knightsey, and every month, a guest and I will analyze the regional careers of newly balloted wrestlers for the Observer Hall of Fame. Are they day one votes? Do they belong at all? Find out on the ballot every month on patreon.com/countoutpod. Again, check out the ballot on patreon.com/countoutpod. We hope to see you there.